A few years ago, Silicon Valley was searching for its next big growth story. The smartphone market was maturing. Social media companies were facing slower growth. Streaming services were becoming crowded. And many investors were wondering what would drive the next era of technology. Then artificial intelligence arrived. Not as a niche technology, not as a research project, but as a business opportunity large enough to capture the attention of the entire technology industry. Today, some of the world's biggest companies are spending hundreds of billions of dollars on AI. New data centers are being built. Advanced chips are selling as fast as they can be produced. Power companies are preparing for rising electricity demand. And executives across Silicon Valley are treating AI as the most important opportunity in decades. It's one of the biggest bets the technology industry has ever made. And whether it succeeds or fails, it's already reshaping Silicon Valley. The first thing that makes this AI boom different is the scale of spending. Technology companies have always invested heavily in new opportunities. But AI is operating on another level. Companies are not just building software, they're building infrastructure, massive data centers, advanced computing systems, networking equipment, energy partnerships, and specialized hardware. The cost of entering the AI race is enormous. In some cases, companies are spending tens of billions of dollars per year. That's not normal, even by Silicon Valley standards. The reason is simple. AI requires computing power on a scale the industry has rarely seen before. Every AI model must be trained. Every AI service must run continuously, and every user interaction consumes resources. Unlike traditional software, AI requires a constant flow of computing capacity. That creates demand for infrastructure. And infrastructure requires investment. Lots of it. Another reason spending remains so aggressive is fear. Not fear of failure, fear of missing out. Technology history is filled with examples of companies that underestimated major shifts. Some underestimated the internet, others underestimated smartphones. Some failed to recognize the importance of cloud computing. The consequences were often severe. Silicon Valley remembers those lessons. Executives know that if AI becomes as important as many people expect, companies that move too slowly could spend years trying to catch up. That's why even cautious businesses are investing aggressively. From their perspective, falling behind may be riskier than overspending. Infrastructure has become the center of this race. Many people focus on AI applications, chatbots, virtual assistants, content generation tools. But behind every AI product sits an enormous amount of hardware. Servers, advanced processors, storage systems, networking equipment, and energy infrastructure. The companies building this foundation are making a huge bet. They're betting that future demand will justify today's spending, and so far, they appear confident that it will. One of the most interesting aspects of the AI boom is how it has changed the priorities of Silicon Valley. Just a few years ago, many companies focused heavily on consumer apps and digital services. Today, conversations revolve around computing power, infrastructure capacity, and data centers. The industry has shifted from building primarily for attention to building for capability. That shift is reshaping investment decisions across the technology sector. Companies that once focused on software alone are now thinking about hardware, energy, and infrastructure. That's a major change. The AI race is also reshaping competition. Technology companies are no longer competing solely on products. They're competing on resources. Who can build the most infrastructure? Who can secure the most computing power? Who can attract the best engineers? Who can scale the fastest? These questions have become increasingly important. The result is an industry-wide race to expand capabilities before competitors do. And that race is driving much of the spending we see today. Of course, investors are watching carefully. Whenever companies spend this much money, expectations rise. Investors want results. They want evidence that AI can generate revenue, improve productivity, and create long-term value. The challenge is that some of those benefits may take time. Technology adoption rarely happens overnight. Businesses must learn how to use AI effectively. Workflows must change. Products must mature. And customers must decide what they're willing to pay for. That process can take years. Yet spending is happening now. That's what makes this such a significant bet. Companies are investing based on what they believe the future will look like, not necessarily what exists today. What's fascinating is that the AI boom has already created winners. Companies involved in chips, cloud computing, networking, and infrastructure have experienced enormous demand. As AI spending increases, these businesses benefit regardless of which AI applications ultimately dominate. They're selling the tools required to build the industry. And history shows that infrastructure providers often play critical roles during major technology transitions. Still, uncertainty remains. No one knows exactly how large the AI market will become. No one knows which products will dominate. And no one knows how quickly businesses will fully adopt AI technologies. Those questions remain unanswered. Yet spending continues. Why? Because the potential opportunity is simply too large to ignore. If AI improves productivity across industries, the economic impact could be enormous. If businesses integrate AI into everyday operations, demand could remain strong for years. And if AI becomes a foundational technology like the internet or cloud computing, today's investments may eventually look small in comparison. Perhaps the most remarkable thing about this moment is that Silicon Valley isn't acting as if AI is a normal product cycle. It's acting as if AI is the beginning of a new era. That's why companies are building infrastructure at unprecedented speeds. That's why executives continue emphasizing AI during earnings calls. And that's why investors remain so focused on the industry. The stakes are enormous. So what is the billion-dollar AI bet reshaping Silicon Valley? It's the belief that artificial intelligence will become one of the defining technologies of the modern economy. A belief strong enough to justify massive investments in infrastructure, computing power, and future growth. No one knows exactly how the story ends. Some expectations may prove too optimistic, some companies may spend more than necessary, and some business models may fail. But one thing is already clear: AI has fundamentally changed the priorities of Silicon Valley. The industry is betting that artificial intelligence will shape the future, and it's spending hundreds of billions of dollars to make sure it's ready if that future arrives. Because in Silicon Valley, the cost of being wrong is high, but the cost of missing the next technological revolution may be even higher.